Hello, I'm Ausolot, and in this video I'm going to share what my predictions for the Pokemon Legends Z-A starters are. Alright, so the Pokemon Legends Z-A trailer was just announced, and the entire internet's ablaze, or who enjoy Pokemon anyway. And, I love Pokemon too, and everyone's been speculating what the starters are. Now, before making this video, I haven't seen anyone else's predictions. I haven't seen any leaks people are trying to do. I haven't seen any. This is all speculation that I have come up with myself in this video. So if some of them align with some others, just note that I thought of it on my own, and in this video I'm going to do a process of elimination of all the starters we can and cannot have in the game that could get regional forms. Because in Pokemon Legends Arceus, we had 3 of them, and they're in that game was called Hisui. So we had Hisuian Typhlosion, Hisuian Samurott, and Hisuian Decidueye. So in this game, because it takes place in the past, probably, that would be the only way for us to get Pokemon that aren't Kalosian. So it's probably going to be something else. Right now, I'm probably just call them Kalosian for now. So we would have like Kalosian, blah blah blah, and blah blah blah, and so forth. So in this video, I'm going to follow 5 rules that the Pokemon Company have kind of emplaced on themselves when they make starters or have a starter trio. Because I usually try to look for patterns and stuff with Pokemon and Game Freak whenever they implement games, or they implement starters, their typings, what have you. So the 5 rules that I have laid out are as follows. Rule number 1: they can't have the same species, meaning you can't have two monkeys, 2 pigs, 2 rabbits, you get the idea. Because that would just be too many of the same species in the same line, and in this game, they're probably going to pick different Pokemon from different generations, so having like let's say Rowlet again and Piplup, they're 2 birds, we can't have that. So yeah, that's rule number 1. Rule number 2: they can't be 2 reptiles or birds. This is a very specific one, but out of all of the starters that Pokemon Company and Game Freak have made, not one of them has 2 reptiles in the same starter trio, except Generation 1. That one's kind of wish-washy, because Charmander is sort of a salamander and a lizard, because Charmander, Charred Salamander, and Charizard, Charred Lizard. Because salamanders aren't lizards, they're actually amphibians, because they go through metamorphosis like frogs. So that's really weird. And apparently Bulbasaur is based on a frog, even though it doesn't look like one, but whatever. So Generation 1 is kind of a wish-washy one, and plus Squirtle is a reptile, so Generation 1 is where they're first getting started, so Generation 1 doesn't really count, but all the others preceding that gen, none of them have 2 reptiles. Some of them have 2 amphibians, I think. Yeah, so that's rule number 2. Rule number 3: they can't have the same offensive stat. This means that they can't all specialize in attack or special attack, or all bulky neutral attack and special attack. Let's say we have, all 3 of them are attack. Well, there's not really a lot of leeway room for special type attack to have that option. So it's probably, because it's a good, trio. A lot of them, the starters they have made, have like 2 physical attacks, 1 tank, 1 mixed attacker, 2 attackers, 2 special attackers. All of them are different, but 2 of them can be the same. So this argument, that's fine. So that's rule number 3. Rule number 4, and this one's could go either way. Only 1 returning generation Pokemon, where we have a Hisuian form of. This means that if we do have a returning Pokemon, we can only have one of that generation or from the 3 generations we've already had. So we can't have all. We can't have generation 2, 5, and 7 all on the same gen in this gen or in this game because we already had all those. But we can have one of each, or one of the 3 out of the 3, but we can't have all 3 or 2 because that would be just too samey. And there's 9 generations to choose from, excluding a few. So I'm almost guaranteed we're gonna have one returning generation, that be generation 2, 5, or 7. But we'll get into that when we start process of eliminationing all of the starters. So that's rule number 4. And rule number 5, this one's kind of iffy, but they can't all be quadrupeds, meaning they can't all be on all 4s. Like, a lot of people hate bipedal Pokemon. I don't mind them. They're actually pretty cool. I actually prefer them bipedal because they look a lot cooler. They can do a lot more things. Quadruped Pokemon are kind of just whatever. They can't really do a whole lot. Like, they're not very acrobatic. It's not the right word, but yeah, like, it is a small one, but it'd be kind of weird if all of them are quadrupeds. You gotta have at least one bipedal, but so that's all the rules. And with that, let's head into the actual Pokemon sheet that I've created for this video. Alright, and here are all the starters in the entire Pokemon franchise. So I've categorized them from grass, fire, and water. Nice little color coding. So yeah, these are all the starters in the game. And like I said in the beginning of this video, we're going to process of elimination them all. So we can already do that because, hold on, let me boop, different layer here. We can already cross out generation 1 because presumably we're going to have Mega Evolutions of all the Pokemon that had Mega Evolutions. So these 3 all had a Mega Evolution, which it would be cool to have, regional forms of these guys, but we already have a Mega Evolution of them, so it wouldn't really make a lot of sense for them to have a regional form unless they do something crazy and make the regional form have a Mega, which would be freaking awesome, because I'm more than happy for this video to not be true, and if that's the case, that would be awesome. But for argument's sake, we're going to assume that they are not going to have a regional form because of the Mega. We can also cross off the Hoenn region, because just like the Kanto starters, the Hoenn region all had a regional form in the Hoenn remake in the generation they were added in Generation 6. This one's a bit wish-washy because you could only get them in Hoenn remake because they were all in that game. They weren't except Blaziken. I guess that kind of could also go in favor of this rule or this thing because yeah. I don't know if we're going to have any returning Generation 3 Pokemon that have Megas in the game. Apparently Flygon was supposed to get a Mega Evolution, but the artist who was making him had artist blocks, so they just didn't add him in. So maybe they'll have new returning evolutions, but that's not what this video is about. So for sake of argument, we're also going to exclude the Hoenn region because they all have regional forms. I'm hoping they get added into the game, but it's way too early to tell now. But just for sake of argument, we're going to do that. The next region we can completely disqualify is the Kalos region for obvious reasons, because we're in Kalos, and we can't have regional form of a Pokemon that already lives there. So that's self-explanatory, no real reason to go into that, so yeah. The last gen we can probably exclude is the 9th gen. Mainly, it's way too recent. This generation is the very last generation we've added. It wouldn't make sense for them to immediately give one of them a form. Like I said, I'm more than happy for this video to be wrong. But for argument's sake, we're going to assume that that generation will not be included with the regional forms. And these are all the 4 that we can definitely exclude from that. That also includes Pokemon we already have a regional form of from the Hisui region, like Cyndaquil here, Ausolot, and Rowlet. All of these guys, that looks a little weird, all of these guys that you already have a regional form of, so they're 100% probably not going to have another regional form of those. So, yeah. So now we're going to get into the we're going to start speculating what we can and can't have. We're going to go in the line. Oh gosh, there we go. Just gotta get the green in. There we go. Get that away. And we're going to go in the line and just process of elimination all of the ones that we can have. So let's start with Chikorita. We're going to assume that we are going to have at least one returning one. So run one from the Johto region, Unova region, and Alola region. But we can't have one of each. So we're going to go for, let's say we're going to have one from the Johto region. Chikorita is kind of a cheat, because it can kind of go with almost any of these other ones. Like, let's say we go for Chimchar and either of these two. Oh, sorry, not that one. Or this one. This could work. It's doesn't follow in the same rule as the same Pokemon, or same species, or same type of animal. And this one's a tank, mixed attacker, this one's mixed attacker, and this one's special attack. So that one works, but because Chikorita has a few more, like, let's go with this one, and then we can go with Piplup. This one would also work. This one's mixed, physical, special. This combination also could work. I don't really like Chikorita that much, but that is a combination that could work. So either of those two combinations would work in this scenario. And then let's... oh, yeah, that's all the grass combinations with the Johto region. Well, now let's go over to Feraligatr or Totodile. And this one is a bit disappointing because with our other rules, let's try and combine him with this one, with the grass. Uh-oh, they're both reptiles. We can't do that. That's just the arbitrary rule that Pokemon Company has made. Unless they make another trio with two reptiles, we can't do that. Let's go to the next best one. Monkey! Mr. Fireman here. Chimchar. Okay, so we got water and fire. We can't choose from this region or this region. So the only other grass region we choose from is from this one. But uh-oh, two monkeys! Can't have two of the same animal. So that kind of immediately disqualifies... well, not yet. Let's go with fire. Monkey. Alright. Same... or monkey. Bunny. But then if we go to this one, uh-oh, two reptiles. We still can't do this. So we immediately sort of have to disqualify Totodile from returning into the game. So that's kind of a big bummer. Gosh, I really wish these were bigger. Gotta get my orange one. We're gonna cross these off with orange to signify that we cannot have him at all. A little big. Cross that off right there. All right, we're gonna cross him off with an orange thing, meaning that we definitely can't get Totodile. Alright, let us get back this one. And gosh, these are really sorry. Doing this all in Krita. There we go. So now that we've gone through the Johto region, let's go to the Unova region, implying that we're gonna have at least one of. So let's start with oop, wrong one. Let's start with Snivy. He's my favorite of the Hoenn starters, so I'm hoping that we get a Snivy. I like this, cutting off his nose. There we go. So we can't do Johto or Alola, so let's go for this one. Let's start with the Fire Monkey. So we got Grass, Fire, and we can only choose from Sobble. This is another interesting choice, but uh-oh, we can't do that because these are both reptiles. At least I'm pretty sure Sobble is supposed to be a lizard, and Snivy is a snake, I'm pretty sure. So we can't have that. So let's choose him and Cinderace, or Scorbunny. Circle looks a little weird. So this is another, oh gosh, trying to get well within the thing here. There we go. So we have reptile, mammal, then the only other one we can choose from is Piplup. This is the one I'm most hopeful for that gets added into the game, these three, because I love Snivy, you know, and then Scorbunny's pretty cool. I actually kind of hate this one, only in competitive in Gen 8 because it was an abomination. And then there's Piplup. Piplup is a very fan favorite Gen 4 Pokemon. So Yeah, this is the combination I'm most hopeful for. This is special, technically mixed attacker, because its attack and special attack are the same, and this one's more physical based, so this trio also works. Alright, let's go with Tepig now. And we're going to do this. Do that. So, okay, so we have Tepig now, so we gotta choose a grass type. Okay, let's choose Turtwig. Turtwig, this one, now we need to choose a water type, and the only other water type we can choose from that isn't part of another generation is Sobble. And uh-oh, these are old reptiles, so we can't actually choose that one. Alright, let's choose Grookey. Okay, now we gotta choose a water type, and the only other water type we can choose from is this one. Right here. So this combination could also work. We got special water, fire, and grass, and physical, special. That works. Bulky tank, kind of bulky tank. This one's a bit iffy, this choice, but this combination can also work. But just looking at them side by side, this combination doesn't really work for me, but it's a combination that could work. That's kind of all the combinations we can choose from. The only two grass type we can choose from, and this is the only water type we can choose from. Well, these two water types. Or not these two, because these are reptiles. So these three are the only ones we can choose from. Alright, now let's jump over to the Alola region. Okay, let us pick Litten now. Now we've got to pick a grass type. Let's start with this region. Okay, 2 fire and a grass, 2 different animals. Now we got to pick a water type. The only water type we can actually choose from is Sobble, and uh-oh, both of them are reptiles. It's going to be a broken record in this video, so we can't choose that. Alright, let us choose this one. Grookey. Grass, fire. Okay, 2 mammals, so we gotta pick a water type. The only one we can pick from is Piplup. So, yes, this combination does work as well. So, Piplup, Litten, and Grookey. This is another combination where I'm like, I could see that happening. Got Rillaboom, Incineroar, and Empoleon, all with their own different typings from each other. This is a new typing, not dark and not steel, so they're very interesting, but I'm still banking on the Snivy one. That's the one I'm most hopeful for, but this is a combination that can work. Alright, can't really choose any other grass types from Litten, so now let us choose Popplio. So now oh, that's going out of the thing here. There we go. Nope, come on. Stupid picture perfect. It's pissing me off. You piss her off for her. It's fine. Popplio. Alright, let's choose a grass type. Again, 4th gen, Turtwig. So now we gotta choose a fire type. We can't choose from this gen, but we can choose from this gen. And this combination also works, although this lineup doesn't feel very strong, and the region that we're going for is, France, which isn't very aquatic, but there is water in Lumio City. So I could see that, but it's almost too, it has literal flippers and it needs water to actually move. So crossing a lot of land doesn't really make a lot of sense. So, yeah, this combination could work, but it probably won't work. Alright, let's choose another grass type. Let's choose Grookey. Alright, we got Grookey. Now we need a fire type. Let's go with Chimchar. Uh-oh, we can't, because they're both monkeys. So we can't choose Chimchar. And the only kind of other combination we pick is we can't. So Popplio and this one just don't work. If we choose water type Popplio. So we can't have either of these fire types. So that rules out Popplio. And that kind of does it for the real video. So the combination that I think will be included in the game are these 3. Well, the other one's Score Bunny. This is a real strong, combination. I like Snivy, and Piplup's pretty cute, and Score Bunny because of recency bias. But it also does kind of make sense for these two, and sort of Piplup. So Snivy, if you didn't know, there's actually a picture of a hand-drawn picture of Snivy in Professor Sycamore's office. I don't have a captured 3DS thing, so I can't actually show you the footage, and I'm not going to steal someone else's footage, and I'm not going to pirate the game to show you the footage, so you just got to take my word for it. It's on the left side, a wall next to him. There's a picture of Snivy, in his office that's been hand-drawn, implying in the past. Someone drew that in the past. And not to mention, he has a lot of Unovan Pokemon in his office or in his building. So it's very strange, but obviously that's why I'm sort of hinting at Unova coming back as a generation starter. And I like Snivy, and we've already went through all the combinations. Totodale's not coming through. I thought I had another combination. There might have been some combinations I didn't see or didn't do that I just for some reason blanked on. But that was assuming that I followed all of my, the rules that I've in place, and we can't have the same generation. So Score Bunny also sort of makes sense, not because we've seen a Score Bunny. However, we did have a Score Bunny exit sign in Kitakami, which was very interesting. On some of the buildings, there's a Score Bunny on the exit sign, which is very interesting. But that's not why I'm choosing him. That I think this combination would make more sense is because I don't know if you know, but football was also very prevalent in a lot of European areas. France had soccer in like the 80s, 1900s. Had soccer was very prevalent, and Score Bunny is the striker Pokemon, which is very all about football, soccer, all that jazz. So, and also Unova and Kalos. There's an NPC in the game that I've been talking to that says that Unova and Kalos must have a lot of connections, because there's a lot of mentions of Unova in Kalos, which is just bonkers. There's statues of Bisharp saying it commanded an army of Pawniard. There's a bunch of pictures of a bunch of Unova Pokemon. There's just so many mentions of Unova. In the freaking courtyard in the castle, there's a Reshiram and a Zekrom opposing each other because of the ideals. So, yeah, Unova connections, and Unova was all about sports as well. Like, a lot of it was sports driven. Like, there was a lot of sports. You could play American football. I think there was baseball and probably other sports in there, so Score Bunny makes a lot of sense. The only one that doesn't make a lot of sense, for the most part, is Piplup. Apparently there's a French-owned island near Antarctica, or I guess it would be more near Africa. It's like, I can't remember the name, but that has a group of penguins that live on there. They're actually going extinct, I think. Their population is almost dwindling or nothing. So technically, penguins aren't in the game or in that region in France. But Piplup is the Emperor Pokemon, and there's a lot of kingly symbolism in France, or in more specifically in Kalos, because there's a king. It was a Z probably, and he's a king and emperor, basically the same thing. And I can see a King Piplup or King, Empoleon representing. So yes, these are the three that I am most hopeful for, and I think have the best shot of coming into the game. Out of the three, Snivy is probably the least favorite of the Hoenn, or the Unova. But Piplup is probably the most favorite of most people. I actually prefer Chimchar myself, but who doesn't like Chimchar and Infernape? But Piplup is the most popular, and probably Cinderace was the most popular of this gen. And these ones, in this other one, this Rowlet was probably the most popular. Ausolot might have been the most popular, and Cyndaquil was probably the most popular of their respective trios. So yes, this is my final prediction for the starters for Pokemon Legends Z-A, or Z2A, or Z-A, however you want to slice it. So let me know if I didn't mention a combination that I didn't, or what Pokemon of these combinations are combinations that you guys think would be in the game. You could leave them all in the comments below. I'll read every single one of them, or at least try to. So yeah, these are all my predictions for the starters in Pokemon Legends Z-A. So thank you so much for watching till the end of this video. It means a lot to me. If you want to support me, you can do so by subscribing. It will help me out a great deal and lets you know when my next upload is. So thank you so much for watching. See ya! Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.